Hey, if you're a personal trainer that wants to get into the online coaching space, this video is going to walk you through the most scalable online fitness coaching business model. To give you some context, I've been in the online fitness coaching space since 2015. I've done both low ticket, like 20, 30 bucks a month, as well as upwards of $500 a month for online coaching. And in all the years I've been doing it, the model I'm going to share with you in this video is going to be by far the simplest, and it's going to allow you to collect more revenue a lot quicker. Okay, so what I see is when people get into the space and they follow this blueprint, they follow this model, they're able to get their first 10K month within 6 to 12 months of starting their business. Assuming they follow everything that I'm going to share in this video and they have the model set up and it's running properly. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the computer and let's get this thing started. All right, so to share with you the model, I've got a little flow chart here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna work from left all the way to the right. And on this left side, it's gonna be from the client's eyes. From the time that they lay eyes or they see a piece of content of yours to the time that they sign up with you, they renew with you, they have monthly check-ins, like all of that. We're gonna cover the entire process of how do I actually coach a client online? And we're gonna start with how do I get a client online? Okay, so how do I get one all the way to how do I serve them at a very high level so that they continue to renew, they tell more friends and family, and you continue to grow and get more clients from this model. Okay, so step one in the client's eyes is they're gonna see a piece of content of yours. Now, this could be a sponsored ad. It could be a shared content, like you made a really good post and someone shared it and said, hey, go follow this person. This is great advice. That's awesome. Or the algorithm could share it. It gets enough engagement, enough views that it's going to be put in front of the right people. The people will watch that video or read that post and be like, man, this was good. I got to get more, right? So once they see that piece of content, they're going to then click your account, right? They're going to click your profile to see more content. If they like what they see in your feed, right? They're like, wow, this content really resonates with me. They're going to follow your account. If you're on Facebook, they'll friend you, okay? And then from there, they're gonna be able to see more of your content. Now, quick, just like piece of advice, pick Instagram or Facebook when you're getting started. It's way better to have just one platform than trying to have like 2 or 3 platforms at the same time. It's double the workload. Even if you're cross-posting, it's still, I promise, double the workload. So pick one platform to start and make content for that main platform, okay? So whichever one it is, Facebook or Instagram, they're gonna either follow your account or they'll friend you. And then from there, you're going to have the opportunity to have a DM conversation with any new follower, anyone who sends you a friend request, and anyone that's engaging in your content. Now, real quick, I want to show you what that process looks like, because it's not just, hey, thanks for the follow. Want to buy my stuff? If you do that, they're gone, okay? They're gone. Here's the process that we help all of our clients install. It's 7 steps in total. Step 1 is starting the conversation. So if they followed you, that gives you a reason to start the conversation. If they commented on a post, it gives you an opportunity to start a conversation. If they viewed or they engaged in a poll on your stories, we need some reason to start a conversation, right? So step 1 is starting that. Once we do that, we then want to qualify and see if that person is looking for support, right? If you're a fitness coach, right, and you're trying to help someone lose weight, a really good way to do that is when you start the conversation, you're not going to probably go straight for the kill and ask, hey, what's your current workout routine? You could, but more than likely you're like, hey, what's going on? I see that you're also in Chicago. I'm not in Chicago, but just making that up. Hey, I see you're also in Chicago. And it looks like you do consulting for work. Is that right? And they'll typically say, yeah, that's what I do. The next part where we can kind of transition in there is like, wow, man, that's awesome. Are you still able to make it to the gym with your busy schedule, right? And then from there, you can start to transition and ask more specific questions to figure out, is this person in the specific niche that I want to support, right? So we start the conversation, transition, we qualify them, we ask them some more questions. And then once we get an idea of, yes, this person is in my niche, they are, let's say if you're working with busy moms, they are a busy mom. If you work with executives, yes, this person is an executive. Great. Now we're going to transition into asking more goal-specific questions, okay? So for the goals, we need to determine if we're doing a fitness offer and this person wants to lose weight, well, how much weight do they want to lose, right? And then we want to identify what they're currently doing to achieve those goals. Gotcha. So what I heard is you're trying to lose 10 pounds. Is that right? Yeah. What are you currently doing to lose those 10 pounds? And then what we need to do is we need to identify that method is not working. Okay. So if they're like, oh, I'm trying paleo and I tried keto, but you know what? None of those things seem to be working for me. And then this gives us an opportunity to say, well, there's a different method or different process that I think might work better for you. Are you open to hearing more about that? And if they say, yeah, I would love to hear more about that, then you can position a call for them to learn more. Now, if you identify that the method is working, it's going to be really hard for you to try to pitch a call because they've got a plan. What they're doing is working. So we're trying to tease this out and try to find people that are following plans and they're not happy with either the rate of progress and speed they're achieving their goals, or the thing is just just flat out not working, right? Without a problem, we cannot solve a solution for them. We cannot give them a program unless we find a problem. We find a problem and they're not working towards it, or they're not getting as good of results as they want to, then we can help them, okay? So we've got to find a problem to provide a solution, AKA our coaching program too. All right. So you guys can take a screenshot of this or come back to it. I've got some more videos on this channel about the messenger process, but ultimately the whole goal of here is, can we get somebody from a DM conversation to open up if they're a good fit and then invite them to a sales call. Okay. On the sales call, we're going to do actually a pretty similar process to what we did here. So we're going to find their goals. But the biggest thing that's going to be different on the sales call is we're going to go more into the emotions of how is that impacting their life. Because anytime that we're going to exchange, I'm going to come back to this, exchange money to solve a problem, there has to be enough emotional or just pain in general for someone to make a decision to invest in themselves. So you're not doing this to be like spiteful and being like, I must take all of your money, I need to charge high ticket. No, this is what's going to help them realize that they actually need to change. And without the sale happening, without them making that connection that they have to change in their brain, they're not going to change. And you can't help them and they can't help themselves until they invest in themselves. I know it can be uncomfortable being on the sales front and having those conversations with people and asking them these emotional questions. But that's what we need to do because it's the best interest for the person on the other end who's looking to make a change. Or they might not be sure if they want to make a change until you ask them the right questions, okay? So again, the process for Messenger and the DMs and the sales calls are very similar, except for you're going to get more emotional on the sales call. More emotional. How does this impact their life? What do they really want out of life? Why is this important to them? We're going to get those deeper questions. And then, of course, we'll have an opportunity in the sales call after we discover all of that to present our solution, right? In a very simple 3 to 5 step process of here's how I help my clients insert the goal they want to do, and then you share the price, right? I've got more trainings again on the sales call on my channel. If you guys want to check it out, go for it. But that's just a brief overview of that process too. So on the sales call, right? Let's say you sign up half the people that you get on calls with. That would be fantastic. Okay. Industry standards, probably 30-ish%. Okay. 20% if someone's taking calls for you, 30%-ish if you're doing yourself. But let's just say you're really good and you're closing half the people who are on the call. Great. At the end of the call, you're going to take a payment and then you're going to have them sign an agreement. I typically take the payment over the phone and then I will send them an agreement outside of that for them to fill out on their own time. And if for any reason someone looks at the agreement like, I don't want to do this, cool, I'll send the money back. But I honestly find that getting the payment first, it increases them actually signing the contract and like getting started versus like, I'll send you a payment link and I'll also send you a contract. Yay, right? And what this now leads to is the actual offer itself, right? So when we're hopping on this sales call, what are we actually selling, right? Because what we've gone up to this point has been from the customer's eyes. Now, when we get into the sales aspect and they're signing agreements, taking payment, what am I actually selling? So what I really like to have most people start off with is having a offer priced between $350 and $500 a month. And what that's going to include, it's going to be over here in a second, but it's going to include a one-on-one program, a custom program written for someone specifically, and accountability to follow that program. Now that accountability can be done via email. It can be via done your whichever app you're using, which we'll cover here in a second, or it could be a call. It could be a call once a month or bi-weekly, right? Typically, what I recommend for most coaches who are starting out in the fitness coaching space is I do like having a $350 option, that comes out to being like $1,000 for 3 months. It's a very easy starting place to get started. $1,000, 3 months of coaching, and with that, you can do one call a month. That's a check-in call. Okay, that's the easiest and most scalable for me when I got started. And then once you get to having 20, 30 clients, then we can start to adjust the deliverables. But if you're getting started, you're like, I want to get 20, 30 clients. I want to make 10K a month online. You can do that just by charging $350 or charging $1,000 for 3 months. And just from, if you do the math real quick on that, like if you're selling the $1,000 program, right, then we only need 10 sales. If you're selling the $350 a month, you need about like 33 clients to make 10K a month, right? Same thing up here, equals 10K a month. I'll be honest, like this is very, very, very doable. This is not like hard to do, right? It really just depends on how big your network is. If you've got a big network, you could hit this in a very short time period, especially if you've already been like coaching and doing personal training in person. You can migrate a lot of those clients to online coaching clients, and you only need 10 of them at $1,000 rate to make 10K a month. Guys, if you are doing in-person training, sometimes the packages that these people pay at gyms for 2 or 3 sessions a week for an entire month can be over $1,000 a month. So this can actually be more affordable for them if you position it that way, right? It can be very affordable. But yeah, my recommendation for the offer that you are selling, again, we're gonna go over how to deliver on all this in just a second. $350 or $1,000 a month, right? Good starting spot, or sorry, $1,000 for 3 months with one check-in call a month, and giving them a custom program and having weekly check-ins and a 24-hour response time to any messages that they're gonna send you. Okay, so on the call, you guys agree on the rate, they sign up, they pay you money, you're gonna send them an agreement, and then they're gonna sign that agreement on their own time. The next thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna have a one-on-one onboarding call with them. And on this call, you're going to be setting goals. So I put this together here so you guys can you can take from this, and it's going to be the framework that I use for onboarding calls. Okay, and there's 6 parts to all of this. If you're doing any fitness or rehab based work, this is essentially how that onboarding call will go. So for this first one up here, all we're going to do is we're going to set the agenda for the call. Hey, thanks for hopping on the call today. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to set goals. We're then going to get a big picture plan in order. I'm going to ask you all the questions that I need to create the protocol for you. I'm going to then onboard you to any software and stuff that we need to communicate back and forth. And then at the end, there'll be time for questions. Does that sound good? They'll be like, all right, let's do it. Cool. And then the next phase of this is doing goal setting. So I really like doing 30 and 90-day goal setting on this call. And the reason I like this is, sure, you did goal setting in the sales call, but also there's a little bit of a wall up because somebody just got on the phone with you. They're still not really confident who you are. And maybe they're holding back because they're scared you're going to use it in the sales when you drop your price. So it's still good to come back to these goals and be like, hey, I know we talked about this on the call, but let's get more specific on this, right? And then once you've done that, we want to walk them through how you're going to get them big picture to that goal. All right, so what I heard today is that you want to lose 10 pounds over the next 3 months. Well, here's what it's going to look like. Month 1, we're going to do this. Month 2, we're going to do this. Month 3, we're going to do this. And know that there's going to be opportunities where some things are going to change. It's not going to be the same, just like copy paste every month, right? There's going to be some variation in there. But just giving them a big picture roadmap so they can see where you're going is going to help with compliance and buy-in. Okay? Right? So you're going to do that. And then after that, you're going to ask them questions about the protocol. So like, what equipment do they have access to? How many number of days they want to work out? What's the length of time for the workouts? What's their injury history? Any exercises they like that cause pain, that they hate? Any cardio that they like to do or don't want to do? What's their warm-up routine been? Do they need a warm-up routine? What equipment do they have access to for warm-ups? And any other like medications, health questions that you need to know to provide a really good workout program for them. Okay. So this part here is going to be meaty. For a lot of this, like as you grow and scale, you'll probably have an onboarding questionnaire. They can fill this out, but you're still going to want to review it because I guarantee you, people do not write the same information as what they tell you. So just ask it again, okay? Or just go through it kind of like line by line. So once you've got the questions you need to write their protocol, you're then going to get them onboarded to any softwares and set up a really clear communication expectation. This is what's going to happen. You're going to show them the software, and then you're also going to tell them, hey, we're going to check in weekly. What's that look like? You're going to check in monthly. What's that look like? We're going to check in quarterly. What's that look like? Just paint the picture so it's so vivid. They're like, man, this program is so professional. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. Now, you don't have to know all this stuff from the start. As you get more experience, you'll have more confidence in delivering this. And then part 6 is going to be closing off and just asking what questions that they may have for you about the process. And the same thing goes for nutrition too. There's not much difference here. Yeah, same thing for life coaching and same thing for nutrition. There's just in this questionnaire, there's like a little bit different questions that I have added for it because I don't need to know what equipment you have access to if I'm delivering nutrition advice. I don't need to know what equipment you have access to if I'm doing life coaching. So just need to make those sections for yourself. But again, the big picture sections are setting the agenda, goal setting, walking them through how you're going to get them there, questions for you to create the program or protocol, getting them onboarded with the software they need to, setting expectations for communication, and then answering all the questions they may have. Okay, so I don't care what type of coaching you do, you need to do that. Okay, so once this stage is all wrapped up and you have all the information that you need, the next stage is going to be you going and building that program. If you're delivering exercises, here are 3 programs or softwares to check out. We've got TrueCoach, it's my favorite one as a coach to write for. Trainerize, that's another very popular one. And then TrueCoach is the third. I've worked with all 3 of these. As a user, I actually liked TrueCoach as a user. As a coach, Train Heroic, I liked as a user. As a coach, I really like TrueCoach. Really like TrueCoach. It's just very easy. It's plug and play. I can write programs quickly. I can see everything I need to do, and I can communicate with my clients inside of here. So my preference is TrueCoach, but ultimately it is up to you and which one you like the best. For a lot of these, like I would just book calls. Like I did this when I was deciding is I would just book demo calls with all the different companies and see which of the softwares I like the most. Okay. So you'll write the program in one of these apps. My biggest recommendation for you as you're writing these programs is to write them in 4-week blocks. Okay. It's a lot more efficient than writing them weekly or daily. Do not write them daily. I know some people that write them weekly and they really like that. That can be helpful if somebody is like a competitive strength athlete or if someone's preparing for a competition or a show or something like that. I see where doing weekly makes sense, but I'd say long-term, you're going to want to deliver the program monthly or every 4 weeks, because what that's going to allow you to do is you can write one week of workouts, right? And then you just duplicate that in the software and you add your progressions every single week. And that flow works really well. If you do it weekly, you now have another task you have to do every single week. And it just feels a lot more stress and pressure that way, okay? And the cool thing with some of these softwares too is that you can just release the workouts like 1 week ahead of time. So if you like to program and periodize and do all that progression stuff, you could write this thing out like a 12, 16 week block and in one go, and then just show it just keeps publishing the next week every single like Sunday, right? So yeah, up to you on how you like that. I write them in 4-week chunks. I found that if I tried 16 or 12-week blocks, someone would get hurt or someone's goals would change halfway through, and then I'd have to start a program all over again. So my recommendation would be to write them in 4-week blocks. Okay. All right. So you'll write the program in one of these apps. You're then going to do a Loom video. Loom is just a screen recording tool, right? It looks similar to what you guys are watching right now, where there's a little bubble right in the corner that kind of walks through and just screen shares. but I really like delivering the protocol or program that I've written with me talking out loud and like kind of sharing why I did this. They can also hear my inflection, my tone, all of that. So I really like delivering that as I'm delivering the program so that they get a really clear picture of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, cool. So once that program is delivered, we're now going to get into how do I actually deliver the service at a high level? I wrote them the program, but how do I check in with them? What does the accountability look like? How do I track their progress? Okay. So right off the bat, one thing that I have set up for my business coaching business, and I also have set up for other coaches in their coaching businesses, is having a very simple sheet. Okay, you can start with a Google Sheet and that's perfectly fine. If in the future you want to move to something that's more robust like Airtable, you can, but I honestly would start here until you have like 50 or so clients. After that, you might want to have a more robust software to track progress. But here's a very simple CRM sheet. They'd have their name here, their contact information, where they came from, their sign up date, their contract end date. Did they sign the agreement that we had in the earlier step? How much revenue their contract was at, their payment plan details, the amount of money you've collected. And then typically what I'll do in here too is I'll also have some notes just generally on their progress, right? So it can be really helpful if like having like inside of here goals, right? The goals they have set, and then you can just, have this here and then be like, 5 pounds in 12 weeks, blah, 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 right? And then you can have their goals, and then you can even have another column, which would be like progress. And then same thing would happen here of like just having updates on the progress they're having. And typically what I've done with Google Sheets with this is like, I'll either insert a comment or I'll insert a note. So then I could put like, week 1, client is excited, right? And then the next week when I come back in the same thing, I can say week 2, client lost 2 pounds, and then you could put like water weight, whatever you want to put, like, right? So like just kind of notes to yourself. But then what this allows you to do is that you always have notes here, and you want to track your client's progress. Okay. You want to do that. And I know sometimes this can feel tedious to track these things, but I guarantee you it's going to help you with your service delivery, and it's going to help you dramatically with the amount of referrals that you would be getting. Okay. So do that. Okay. All right. So coming back to this, build out a Google Sheet, have a very simple way to track your progress. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have a weekly check-in process. Okay. What I found that works very, very well is having a very simple Google form that someone would complete, and it just has all the information, all the questions that you need for them to complete. Okay. To give you guys just some examples of some questions that you might ask if you're doing fitness coaching is, I always start off with wins. I like practicing wins, but what is the number one thing you're grateful for from the last week's training, right? How would you rate your overall training this week? How would you rate your fatigue this week? Were you able to complete all your sessions last week? If no, why not? What was your sleep quality? 0 to 10. What was your nutrition quality? 0 to 10. Did you experience any pain last week? If so, tell me about it, right? Do you have anything coming up this week that will make you need to adjust your training schedule? Yes or no, right? And again, the nutrition stuff can be very similar, but we want to keep this like 10 questions or less. Okay, we're just trying to get a good gauge on where that person's at so that we can make sure that they're progressing at the right rate. Okay, so we're back here on the sheet. So we've got our weekly check-in process. We'll have a questionnaire. It's in Google Forms. And then once they complete that, we are then going to review that every single week. I typically do this on a Sunday or a Saturday over the weekend. You could do it Monday too if you'd like. And then I'm going to come back to my active client tab, which I created over here. I'll add any notes that I want to add for this client. And then what I will do is I will shoot that client a response back to the check-in that I reviewed. And typically I do that the same way as I deliver the protocol. I do it with a Loom video. So I'll do a Loom video being like, hey, I just reviewed your form. And on the form, I noticed X, Y, and Z. And here's the one thing that I want you to focus on this week. Sound good? Good, right? And we just keep that process going every single week. Now, like I recommended when I talked about the sales, I really like having a call once a month with your clients, because what that allows you to do is on that call, you can review their entire progress and the habits they had over the 4-week period, and you can adjust that as needed. Okay, so I really like doing a monthly call where I'm going to look at all the check-ins they had, have a call with them, because again, what people write isn't the same as what they say. So they have an opportunity to share with me exactly what's going on there. And then I'll update their protocol. And after I have that review, I will then publish the next 4 weeks of training. Again, I wrote my program blocks in 4-week chunks, not 12 or 16, because so much stuff happens. So that allows me once a month to write the next block. Also, why it's important to write in blocks, in 4-week blocks, is let's say the end of this month comes up and they're like, hey, Matt, I can't continue anymore, right? I can't continue at the 350 rate anymore. I really enjoyed working with you, but I can't work with you anymore, or I don't want to work with you anymore, or whatever, right? Well, good, because I mean, not good. We want to keep supporting them, but if that is the case, then we don't have to provide the next month's worth of workouts if they're not going to be working with us. Okay, so wait for the review, get all the subjective data, look at all of their workouts, their progress, as well as the questionnaires they've been completing every week, and then write their next 4 weeks of programming. Okay. Also, I have here, if they're crushing it, because you're just going to keep repeating the cycle, right? If they're crushing it, ask for a testimonial. Ask for a testimonial and ask for a referral. Nobody does this, but just ask for a referral. Be like, hey, you know, Susie, I really love working with you. If I could work with 20 Susies, I would. Now, with that, do you know anybody that's also looking to insert goal here? And see if they do. And if they do, be like, awesome. Well, you know, if you're comfortable with it, I'd love to be connected with that person. Could you start a group chat with us, a group text with us? And they say, I don't know. How about a group email? Would that work? You know, but ideally, I'd say a group text or a group IG or Facebook message works like really well for referrals. Okay. Now, once we've done that, we have completed that cycle, and then every 3 to 4 months, we'll do another goal setting call, right? Which is similar to what we did in the first part of the onboarding call. And then from there, we'll make a new protocol, right? And we just keep this process recycling, repeating. Okay. This is the business model. Okay. Now, if you're here and you're like, Matt, I'm not sure how to actually write programs, right? How do I write a program? I'm not your guy for that. All right. I'm your guy for marketing, sales, and systems. If you need help learning how to write programs, I'm a huge fan of Renaissance periodization. I really love Dr. Mike's work and the team over there. So huge shout out to those guys. I would highly recommend reading some of those books. Yeah, I think those are my favorite. So I would encourage you to start there if you're into the physique space. Now, if you're into the strength space, I also like Juggernaut. I think Juggernaut does a great job. They're actually pretty closely related, but that's another place you can look for more information on how to program. Okay. But yeah, here's the model, right? So social media ads, they follow your account, message, you're creating content daily. You send them a DM, right? You book a call, you sign the contract, set the goals, write the program, deliver the protocol, check in weekly with your Loom, and then once a month have a call, and then every 3 to 4 months do another goal setting session. And we just keep repeating this, right? And when you get to the part where you're like, man, Matt, I'm doing 20K a month. This is awesome. I would like to do more. Great. When you're at that point, we can then talk about hiring somebody, right? And then the only difference here is typically when you hire someone to do this coaching role is you still do everything up to this point here. You still do marketing. You still do sales, but the handoff happens here at the onboarding call. This is when you would hand them off to their support coach or their head coach, and then that coach is going to write the program, deliver it via Loom, do this whole process. And when you get to that point, this is where tracking progress and like I shared here becomes even more important, because you need to know the results your clients are getting if someone else is coaching them. Okay, so that's all I got for today. If you guys are looking for help, right? If you guys want help with this process, you're like, Matt, this was really, really insightful. Thank you so much for sharing all this stuff. If you want help scaling your business, right? Like this stuff we can help with, but really like this stuff. If you're like, Matt, I like the business model, but I'm not sure how to create good content. I don't know how to run very simple ads. I don't know how to have these DM conversations. And I feel like I'm good at sales, but I'm not sure what my process is going to look like. That's what we do with all of our coaching clients. So all the clients we support, we give them the exact social media strategy that we use, as well as the 250 plus other health coaches that we've worked with. We give them all the same strategy that's worked time and time again. And then we also help them set up their ads, right? When they get to that stage, you don't need to start there. You won't start with ads. But when you get there, we'll write your first ad for you. We'll publish it. We'll share with you exactly the strategies you need. And then we'll audit all of the DM and sales conversations you have. When I say audit, like you're going to upload your sales calls and our team will actually watch the entire call recording and give you feedback on here's what to do next time. Okay. Same thing goes for the social media stuff. When you're posting on social, if you're struggling, you're not getting results from it, our team will audit it. We'll send you feedback. We'll tell you exactly what to post, when to post it, how to post it, so that you can get the engagement to keep the cycle going. Because what we found is that most coaches are pretty good at this part, right? This part's pretty good. They feel comfortable with delivering protocols, writing programs, holding people accountable, communicating with their clients, but their biggest limitation is marketing and sales, okay? And if that's you too, you're not alone, okay? I was there too. I just became a student and studied it, and I love it now, and that's how I support my clients. So if you want help with any of that, I'll have a link below to book a call with my team. On the call, we'll get clear on what you're working on. And if we think we can help, we'll share with you what it looks like to work with us. So if that sounds enticing or interesting to you, go ahead and click that link below, and we look forward to chatting soon. And that wraps up today. Thank you guys for being here. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.